It's that time of year again as we bring you the second ever Strong Style Showdown, the most prestigious honour in all of Strong Style Americas. Not only that, but we find out the heartbreaking news that one of our champions has signed an exclusive contract with a major promotion and will be leaving in 30 days. The countdown is on. And make sure you drop a like on the video if you're looking forward to it, as we look to hit 300 likes this time to unlock the next episode as soon as I can. Check out the Patreon where you can gain access to several save points from this series to play yourself, and head over to tewdb.com and use the banner at the top of the site to buy TEW IX yourself if you haven't done so already. And we start this episode off at the end of the month. Now we can take a look at the finances to see how we got on in July. So we actually made less money than we did the month before, with us profiting 585, but with that said, we do have the highest balance of the series so far. But the main thing that we spent money on was workers over 2 shows, and yeah, our worker costs were pretty high. And not only that, but we also spent quite a lot on bonuses when we were trying to make people's morale better. So here you can see we spent 1,000 on bonuses and perks as opposed to the sort of 200 that we spent in previous months, and I think that would all be travel. So we're not necessarily doing badly for income, it's just the expenditure was slightly higher than usual. And before we get into today's Strong Style Showdown then, we actually need to create the event itself for the kickoff show. So we're going to be running a kickoff show, and then the elimination round will happen at Strong Style 24, and then the final will happen at Strong Style 25, as well as any potential title matches where the champion to be eliminated during the elimination match. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go through a quick refresher of how the Strong Style Showdown works. So there'll be 2 qualifying matches per men's division. So there'll be 2 for the heavyweight division and 2 for the junior heavyweight division. The Butcher will take on Ryan Davidson and Eric Hammer will take on King Rex on the heavyweight side of things, whilst Eagle Blanc and Joseph Fenech Jr. from BZW in France will go one-on-one, whilst Josh Cody takes on Lavagnuel from WXW. So whoever wins those matches will advance into the 2 5-man elimination matches. There will be one for the heavyweight division and there will be one for the junior heavyweight division. This will be all 5 men in the ring at the same time. Mike DeVecchio, the heavyweight champion, automatically qualifies for this, as does Michael Dante and Jörn Simmons, who are former heavyweight champions. And of course in the junior heavyweight match, LJ Cleary, the champion, automatically qualifies, as does former champion Kevin Blackwood and the impressive Viano Free Jr. You can be eliminated by pin or submission, and whoever is the last man standing will win that respective match. However, there is a twist where the champions are in the match, and whoever manages to eliminate the champion will earn a title match at Strong Style 25. However, the champion can of course win to avoid this and get themselves through to the final, but there will be a target on their back. If you remember last year, the Butcher eliminated Michael Dante, who was then heavyweight champion, and earned himself a title shot, whilst Kevin Blackwood, who was the junior heavyweight champion, won his elimination match and won the whole thing, so it can go either way. So whoever wins their respective division's elimination match will advance through to the final, and the winner of that will be crowned the second ever Strong Style Showdown winner. And as I say, the qualification round will be happening at the Strong Style Showdown kickoff show, so that will be a separate event from the main series of events that we run. And this is a similar thing that we did with the Strong Style Roulette. As you can see there, we held a separate show for the roulette kickoff, and we're going to do the same thing this year for the showdown. It's going to be 1 hour long. We're going to put it down as a special, but let's find out when we can actually hold the show. So it looks like Friday the 14th might be a good option. Yeah, we're going to go with that, Friday the 14th of August, unless anything changes. We're going to make it active, of course, intent normal, ticket pricing default, or maybe we should actually up that. No, I'm going to leave it on default, and I think everything else is pretty much as it should be. So yeah, let's save that one in, and then we need to rearrange the next Strong Style main show, and it's currently in for the 3rd of August. So let's take a look at when we should do this one. So Monday the 24th, maybe even Monday the 31st. I think we're going to go a little bit earlier actually and go with Monday the 24th. So let's do that. and then we'll save that and leave everything else as it is. Now, something we do need to monitor as we go into this month is the production costs, because we're now up to a different size of tiny, and I think that might mean we're going to be spending more on production going forward. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. Actually, I've changed my mind. What we're going to do is test out if we're able to run 3 shows at this size and still gain popularity. Of course, when we were insignificant, there was a cap on how much popularity we could earn, and we pretty much hit that with 1 free show or 2 sort of medium priced shows, that being the cap of popularity that you can gain within 1 month. So I'm thinking we try and push the limit now that we're tiny and see if the same cap applies or whether there's more room to grow. So what we're going to do is hold 3 shows this month. We're going to keep the kickoff show where it is on Friday the 14th. We're going to then move the Strong Style main show to Monday the 17th of August, and then run another 2 weeks later on Monday the 31st. And then if we gain popularity on the 31st, then we know that we're able to hold more shows per month to gain popularity quicker in game. And then maybe if that works, we can try 4 shows and see where our cap currently lies. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to move this to the 17th, and then once we run that show, it will automatically generate for 2 weeks later on the 31st. So let's do that. And there's actually some interesting news before we get into the show. And Egil Blanc, who we've loaned from BZW, has been loaned to Pro Wrestling Holland through our alliance. So that's pretty interesting. And it's good to see that the other companies in the alliance are working together over in Europe. But let's get into the show itself then. So we're going to give Danilo and Fibio the night off, because I'm going to try and use Adrian Butler on every single match. So we're going to hold 4 matches, and we're going to see if we're given a warning about him being overused. And if we're not given that warning, that will give us a better idea on whether we need to get rid of Danilo and Fibio and save us some money on contracts. So that would save us $100 per night if we can use Adrian over the course of 4 matches. So yeah, we're going to give Danilo the night off. And another thing that we're going to do is avoid using Hala Wicked. So we have 2 road agents at the minute. Emi Sakurai, who we signed in the last episode, who has 85 psychology and 100 experience and is by far our best road agent. And our other road agent is of course Hala Wicked, who has 72 psychology and 100 experience. However, we're not going to give him the night off because he's also on the creative team, but we're going to see if we're given the same warning about Emi Sakurai being overworked over 4 matches. And if not, then we'll remove the road agent role from Hala Wicked and we'll just use him as a wrestler and as a writer or booker. But with that said, I'm going to give the relevant wrestlers the night off and get back to you in just a second. Okay, so that's all sorted and we'll leave it there. We're going to, of course, use a generic venue as always. As for the booking team, we've generated 104 creative energy, which is significantly less than was projected in the last episode. And it seems that there is bad chemistry between Emi Sakurai and Hala Wicked, which is a bit of a problem. And Emi Sakurai is also receiving a reduction for her 60-day probation period. So once that's sort of settled, we'll take another look at the creative energy and potentially add another worker to the team. But for now, we're just going to leave it as it is and spend some creative energy. So we're going to get in a character idea to hopefully give a boost to somebody's momentum. And it's a big gamble and it can only be applied to Killer Kelly. Don't think we're going to do that. We're just going to discard that one. We're going to get a creative finish though that we can hopefully use at some point. It's a big gamble and could be used in a match where Killer Kelly is the victor. I suppose we could use that in a sort of throwaway match that she's in, where she'd be in a match where she's basically just squashing someone. I don't know. We'll see. And I think we'll grab an angle idea as well. So this one's another bit of a gamble and can be used on anyone. So we'll think about using that as well. I think that's all we can spend, so we'll just go on to the locker room incidents. And several people have remarked that Ryan Davidson has been hanging out with King Rex recently and that he's starting to have an influence. Okay, so King Rex is a people person and Ryan Davidson is a professional, so that could be a good thing were he to take on his personality. So King Rex has only just joined and he seems to be having a positive effect already. And that's all of the locker room incidents. And now we're going to address the locker room. And I think we're going to actually pull a rib this time and try and cheer somebody up. There's a couple of people, I think maybe 4, that are slightly unhappy, and 2 of them are at the show. So it's Josh Cody and Killer Kai. And I think we've ribbed Kai before, so I think we're going to do it again. And I think we're going to go minor rib. There's a 10% chance of upsetting the target or a 15% chance of improving her morale. The rest of them, practical joke is 25-25, 40-35, so that one is favoured towards actually upsetting her. There's a risky rib, which is 60-45, again swayed towards upsetting her. An elaborate plot, which is 75-55 in the favour of upsetting her. So yeah, I don't want to take too much risk, and we're just going to do a minor rib and see how it goes. And the rib was completed but failed to provide any positive or negative effects at all, so that's fine, I guess. But let me pencil in the show and we'll get to it. So all of the matches that we've discussed are booked in, and we're also going to hear from Michael Dante, who's going to address the crowd at the start of the show, where we'll see the latest developments in the Killer Kai, Killer Kelly storyline, which, well, let's get to straight away. And Michael Dante kicks off the show in the ring to address the Killer Kelly and Killer Kai situation after seemingly staying neutral last month, allowing a brawl to ensue. Of course, Killer Kai was in the ring, saying there's room for only one killer, and Killer Kelly came out, and Dante moved out of her way and let it happen. So yeah, Dante tells the crowd that hate is stronger than ever and that there's room for two killers in his faction. He then says that hate can be used as fuel, and together he and the killers are unstoppable. His attention is then drawn to the top of the entranceway, where a Killer Kelly and Killer Kai brawl has spilled out into the arena as Dante looks on, rubbing his hands together. So yeah, an interesting development here. Dante seems to believe that Killer Kai and Killer Kelly together are stronger, as Dante feels that the hate between the two killers can fuel them to become even stronger. So yeah, an interesting development here, and the storyline has advanced with this segment. It got the crowd hotter and got the show off to a strong start, which is of course good, and we got a 39 for this segment, which is good for a promo. And let's get on to the matches then, as Eric Hammer has defeated King Rex in his debut in 14 minutes 49 by pinfall to advance through to the elimination round of the Strong Style Showdown. So Eric Hammer now finds himself in the elimination match with Mike DiVecchio, the heavyweight champion, and of course they've had their issues over the past few months. Will it be settled in the ring on that night? We'll find out. Eric Hammer there got a 28, but King Rex actually got a 38, which is really good from him for a debut. But yeah, like I said, Eric Hammer does advance though through to the elimination round, but it looks like we will be seeing more of King Rex going forward. His Dino Amigo gimmick actually got a great, which is good, and the referee was also rated on his gimmick with a poor, but that's fine, I guess. But yeah, 37 overall for this match as we advance through the tournament, and then we go to the debut of Eagle Blanc and Joseph Fenech Jr., and actually we've had a penalty in this one, but despite that, the two Frenchmen have brought in a 44 rating on their debut. And this match was designed to lift the crowd, but it looks like we didn't actually need to because of that opening promo and the last match, which was a technical masterclass. But yeah, I thought because we were slowing the crowd down with the technical masterclass, we would then need to lift them up, but apparently not, and that's fine. But Joseph Fenech Jr. has defeated Eagle Blanc in 9 minutes 47 by pinfall after using underhanded tactics. And Eagle Blanc got a 42, so he was actually the man of the match, whilst Fenech Jr. got a 40. And as we noted in the last episode, Fenech Jr. has a hot new move, and he benefited from that. But yeah, 44 is really good for these two, especially since they had zero popularity in our region, and we were actually limited to how long we could have them on the show before it said that we were using them too much. I would say next time around they can definitely go longer, as I think their popularity would have increased, and that is something that we will check after this show. But then we go to an angle now where Josh Cody makes his way to the ring and looks hyped for the opportunity ahead, that being in the Strong Style Showdown. And then Levaniel's music hits, but nobody comes out. The music then stops as everybody in the building's left waiting before Levaniel finally makes his way to the entrance ramp with no music and a microphone in his hand. He tells the crowd that he has flown all the way from Germany only to find out that he has to qualify for the Strong Style Showdown, adding that the Prince of the Stars should receive an automatic spot in the elimination match. Because of this utter disrespect, Levaniel has decided that he will no longer be competing here tonight, and that he hopes that the company do the right thing next year, and then he walks to the back in disgust. Josh Cody is then left standing in the ring, gesturing to the crowd that he's not so keen on Levaniel as they chant Josh Cody's name. And what does this mean for Josh Cody's spot in the Strong Style Showdown? Well, we'll find out as we go forward, but the segment got a 16, so not the best. I would imagine a lot of that is down to Levaniel's popularity of 0 in the Mid-South, but still the segment is higher than 0, which should have helped his popularity, and again we'll check that after the show. But now we go to our main event, where Ryan Davidson has defeated the Butcher in 9 minutes 58 by pinfall with a frog splash, and they were set out to steal the show. And the Butcher only got a 40, so not too bad, but Ryan Davidson in comparison got a 50, so he was man of the match and the winner, so the right man advanced this time around. And we got a 52 overall, and the match got the crowd buzzing. And you can see here crowd heat at the end was very hot, so a successful show there in terms of crowd management despite this slight blip in the middle with that lift the crowd match. And yeah, Ryan Davidson has advanced through to the elimination round of the Strong Style Showdown, of course last year's finalist, and this is the last appearance on the Butcher's contract, so he'll be gone at least for now. And the show increased our popularity in one region, which is good. We'll see how much by after this. But let's just recap, as Eric Hammer has advanced through to the heavyweight elimination match, as has Ryan Davidson, and Joseph Finneck Jr. has cheated to defeat Eagle Blanc, whilst Josh Cody and Levaniel's status are up in the air, and it seems Levaniel is not interested in the Strong Style Showdown qualification this time around. So we'll see where that leaves Josh Cody in the next show. And yeah, as I say, 46 overall, which is a solid rating in front of 182 people there, as I noticed as well. But we're going to praise some of the losers then. We're not going to praise the Butcher because he is on his way out. We're going to praise Eagle Blanc, I think. So his morale in the company is good if he does return. We're going to point out as a good example. And we're also going to praise King Rex, who was actually the best performer in his match, and praise for a great performance. So both of those are pleased. And now let's go to the financial report, as we lost $1,098. But yeah, a lot of these loans are quite expensive, so that's nothing I wasn't expecting. And we only paid $200 for travel, so it looks like we're not paying for the European guys' travel over to America, which is good. That's definitely good to know in the future regarding Alliance loans. So I'm assuming that's linked to because their contract in Europe has no travel. We haven't taken that on. So yeah, that's good. Popularity recap, we have stayed at 17, but I would imagine we're like 17.9 at this point, and that's the end of proceedings. And we have a very interesting piece of news coming out of this show regarding Roman Reigns, and the title is Roman Reigns Forgotten. And it says wrestling star Roman Reigns, who is highly respected for his contribution to wrestling over the years, has said that he is frustrated at being out of the spotlight for so long. Of course, he left WWE last year. It says that he hasn't been seen for a full year, but hinted that he is looking to make a big splash upon his return and can't wait to get back. So that'll be interesting to see if he ends up signing somewhere, maybe back in WWE, or maybe even AEW or New Japan or something like that. So I think we're actually going to shortlist him and see if we get any news regarding that going forward in our emails. So yeah, that'll be interesting to track. And we definitely won't be able to bring him back to wrestling, as he's on $21,400 per show. So then let's take a look at the improvements of popularity on the people we had on loan then, as they've all left now. So if we go to Levaniel, he was of course on 0 in the Mid-South, and he's now gone up to 1, so not too bad. Let's check out Joseph Finneck Jr., and he's gone up to 3, which is pretty good. Of course, he had a better segment than Levaniel. Levaniel's was like 16. And Eagle Blanc was in the same match as Joseph Finneck Jr. and only went up to 1. So it looks like Joseph Finneck Jr.'s win has actually given him a bigger boost in popularity than his opponent. With that said, we need to bring in Finneck Jr. once again for the next round, because of course he won. So we're going to propose an alliance loan and go with Joseph Finneck Jr. And this time he's going to cost us $230 per show. We can technically negotiate with him now. That wasn't possible in the last episode. And he wants $130, so not too bad. But of course we'd have to pay $200 travel. I wonder if actually he would be up for moving. Let's try asking him. Yeah, he's not up for it. Okay. I don't expect any of them will be, so we're not even going to bother trying. But we will be bringing in Finneck Jr. on a loan once again. So let's try that. And he is back on the roster. So one of the things I was saying earlier in the episode is that we need to keep an eye on production costs, and it seems that production costs will remain the same. So on the per show part, we're spending $200 per show, and that was the same as last month and the month before and the month before. There was a point where it was $100 per show, but that was before the music upgrade, and I think we might have a little bit more of an increase in running costs, but other than that, it's, yeah, we're pretty much as we were. But obviously, because we're running free shows this month, that might see the running costs go a little bit higher than usual. And of course the per show costs as well. And another thing I want to cover is I've had a look through the creative meeting where it tells you who your franchise players are, who your next big things are, who your hot prospects are, etc, etc. And we finally have our first next big thing. So if you don't know, the next big things are wrestlers who are likely to be a future superstar of strong style, the icons around whom the entire company is built. So basically, if somebody's on this list, they have huge potential and their skills are likely to rapidly increase. And our first one is King Rex. So we do have guys like Viano Jr. who will be future stars of the company, but they're already really good. And once his popularity matches his skills, then yeah, he will be a star of the company. But I'm pretty sure within Next Big Things, this is people that will improve vastly across the board. So if we even track his progress already, you can see his brawling has gone up significantly across the past year. This before we even signed him. He's gone from a 44 in brawling up to a 49. You can see there in technical, he's gone from 42 to 50. And yeah, this is all massive signs that he's going to be a star in the future. In terms of fundamentals, which is something that's very important, his basics has gone from 73 all the way up to 86. Consistency's gone up from 81 to 87. Safety has gone up even more from 75 to 87. So yeah, you can see there that there is clearly something in King Rex that's going to make him massively improve in the future, and he might be someone that ends up getting poached by another company. But luckily so far we haven't had any of our major stars poached by the likes of AEW or WWE on permanent contracts, and it'll be interesting to see who the first one is amongst sort of Viano Jr., King Rex, and maybe even Kevin Blackwood. Hopefully we can keep King Rex around for the foreseeable future at least, and he could be a future heavyweight champion if things continue in this trajectory. And before we get into tonight's show then, let's take a quick look at the field for both of tonight's 5-man elimination matches. So in the heavyweight division, heavyweight champion Mike DiVecchio will be in the match alongside Michael Dante and Jørn Simmons, who are of course former heavyweight champions, as well as Ryan Davidson, who was last year's finalist, losing to Kevin Blackwood, and of course Eric Hammer is in there as well. LJ Cleary enters the junior heavyweight match as the junior heavyweight champion. Former champion Kevin Blackwood is in there too, alongside Viano Free Jr., with Joseph Fenech Jr. and Josh Cody actually qualifying for that one. Of course, Fenech defeated his arch rival Egil Blanc, and Josh Cody got a bye after Lavagno decided he was too good to enter through the qualification tournament and might try again next year to see if he can get automatically into the elimination match. And this was basically just a way of introducing the audience to Lavagno and his sort of attitude and how he's kind of full of himself in case we ever bring him back, which we obviously hope to do. And it also made him active in the USA, and it also gives us an opportunity to put Josh Cody into the match without ending his losing streaks. So it's sort of a win-win situation there. And of course the winners of both elimination matches will qualify for the grand final, and if somebody does manage to eliminate their respective champion in the elimination match, they will get a title shot at Strong Style 25. But before we get there, let's run Strong Style 24 and let's find out who will be entering the grand final. So we're going to be giving some people the night off, and we're going to once again give the other referee the night off, so Danilo and Fibio, and I'll just go through who else is going to be given the night off screen. Right, so that's done. And we're also, of course, going to use a generic venue. And for the booking team meeting, we have 112 creative energy to spend. And we're going to grab a couple of creative finishes, I think. This one's likely to succeed for anyone, which is fine. And yeah, we'll grab another one, a near certainty, and can be applied to matches where Kevin Blackwood is the victor. So maybe we can use that tonight. We'll find out who wins the junior heavyweight 5-man elimination match. We also, of course, have an angle idea still for anyone. It's a bit of a gamble. We have another creative finish that's a big gamble for anyone that we're probably not going to use. We also have a Killer Kai angle idea that expires next month, and we also have one for Killer Kelly that expires next year, but this one's a big gamble and the Killer Kai one's a near certainty. So we might see that in the near future, maybe even tonight. I'm going to go into the locker room incidents then, and Christine Beecraft has turned up and requested to be allowed to hang backstage. She's unemployed, 21 years old. She's a troublemaker, so that's probably a no. Let's take a look at her anyway. So she's from the Rhodes Wrestling Academy, which is, I think, Dustin Rhodes' school. Of course, Cody's is the Nightmare Factory. Yeah, she's not great, and she's a troublemaker, so we're just going to leave that. Eric Hammer and Jørn Simmons have been spending a lot of time together, and Jørn Simmons is starting to act differently. Eric Hammer is a driven personality, while Jørn Simmons is professional. I think professional is better than driven in terms of positivity. But yeah, that's fine. And the locker room incidents are complete. So let's address the locker room then. And we still have, I think, 4 unhappy people. So we're going to give an open forum just to see if we can give a slight boost to morale. And Killer Kai was irritated, but got a small morale boost. And so did Kevin Blackwood, Josh Cody, and LJ Cleary. So let's actually check to see if their morale issues are gone then. So if we just go into the roster, I think it was LJ Cleary is still irritated. Killer Kai is normal morale now. Josh Cody is still annoyed. And the other one was Kevin Blackwood, wasn't it, who we removed from the inner circle. And yeah, he's still irritated, but it still takes us one step closer to a completely happy roster. So we're going to start things off with a Killer Kelly promo. And the only additional match on top of the 2 5-man elimination matches is Trish Adora taking on Hyan, as Trish Adora looks to position herself as the #1 contender for Nicole Matthews' Women's Championship. Let's get into it. And we start off with the promo as Killer Kelly cuts a promo in the ring warning that she isn't here to play nice with Killer Kai and that this town isn't big enough for the both of us. So it looks like whilst Michael Dante sees that the two killers can work together as part of hate and using their hate between each other to build a stronger faction, Kelly doesn't seem to be on side with this. And the angle idea that we used that was a bit of a gamble was a success, which is great to see. Killer Kai was off screen for this one and we got a 36 overall, so not too bad to start off the show. Then we go into a technical masterclass where Trish Adora has defeated Hyan in 15 minutes 17 by pinfall with a lariat Tubman. And the match got a 49, so really good stuff here. Trish Adora with a 45, Hyan actually with a 47, and apparently they have great chemistry and it showed in their performance, which is really good. However, Trish Adora was off her game, but it didn't seem to affect the rating too much as it's almost at 50. So yeah, good match. And let's get into the main stuff tonight as we go to the heavyweight elimination match to find out the first participant in the grand final of the Strong Style Showdown. And let's break down what's happened then, as the first person to be eliminated was Michael Dante. This after Killer Kai accidentally hit him. She was, of course, interfering on behalf of her hate stablemate. He was actually eliminated by Jørn Simmons, who Michael Dante originally defeated for the heavyweight championship in the Amsterdam era of the company. So a little bit of payback there for Jørn, although he was the second person to be eliminated. Mike DeVecchio was then eliminated, of course, the heavyweight champion, and he was eliminated by Eric Hammer, which has earned him a title shot, and that will see them blow off their feud at the next show. And the winner of the match was, for the second year running, Ryan Davidson, who managed to eliminate Eric Hammer. So yeah, big night for Ryan Davidson, and whilst the heavyweight champion Mike DeVecchio was the man of the match with a 53, Ryan Davidson put on a 49 performance, which is solid from him. Michael Dante then followed at 45 with Jørn Simmons and Eric Hammer both getting a 39. So not a bad performance there for the returning Jørn Simmons on his one-night loan, and maybe we'll see him in the future, but he has managed to get his revenge on Michael Dante thanks to a botched interference from Killer Kai. So yeah, Eric Hammer gets a heavyweight championship match against Mike DeVecchio, and Ryan Davidson advances to face the winner of the junior heavyweight 5-man elimination match, which we'll go to next. And the segment rating got a 44, so good stuff there, and we'll see if the junior heavyweights can do even better. And in this one, we got a 62, as once again, let's break down what happened. So the first to be eliminated was LJ Cleary, the champion, but who knocked him out? And it was Josh Cody. A huge elimination for him, earning himself a championship match at Strong Style 25. But despite this, he was the next to be eliminated, so he didn't win the match, but he somehow, without winning a single match, getting a bye in the qualification round and this time eliminating the champion, has managed to earn himself a junior heavyweight championship match against Cleary. So could he pick up his first ever win in Strong Style at Strong Style 25 in the biggest way possible, that being in a championship match. We'll find out. But Joseph Fenech Jr. was the next to be eliminated, leaving the final two to be Kevin Blackwood, the former junior heavyweight champion, and seemingly the future of the division, Viano Free Jr. And it was Viano that comes away with the victory here after eliminating Kevin Blackwood, and he will go on to face Ryan Davidson in the final. So yeah, big win for Viano Free Jr. and huge match for Josh Cody as he has a massive opportunity ahead. The man of the match was Viano, outdoing Blackwood by 3 points, Viano getting a 64 and Blackwood getting a 61. They were then followed by LJ Cleary, who got a 52, whilst Joseph Fenech Jr. got a 39, so not too bad for the loanee there, whilst Josh Cody got a 38. The creative finish that we used, which I think was likely to succeed, has succeeded, so that's a success in terms of creative tonight. And Joseph Fenech Jr. once again benefited from a new hot move, and yeah, as I say, 62 overall, so really good stuff there to main event the show. And let's see what rating we got overall. And we got a 56, which is solid, and we increased our popularity in one region. So let's address the locker room then, and we're going to speak to a couple of the losers. So we'll speak to Kevin Blackwood, I think, and we'll also speak to, I think, Josh Cody. And not only did they lose the matches, they also have bad morale. And so yeah, let's try and get them a little bit happier, as they are two of our main guys, of course. And yeah, let's make that speech, and they're both happy. And let's go to the financial report then, as we've spent $2,000 on workers tonight. Of course, we had a couple of expensive loans in Jørn Simmons and Joseph Fenech Jr. And of course, we had 2 5-man elimination matches, so that's always going to cost a little bit. And we lost $980 there, but we remain in the green in terms of overall finances with $2,167. And next up, let's go to our popularity recap, as we still haven't gone up, interestingly, which means that we're probably going to benefit from having a third show this month. And hopefully, by the time that third show is finished, we do go up once again. But it did say earlier that we did increase in popularity, so there's movement within the number. Of course, the number in the back end has decimals, so yeah, it's not just 17 to 18, it's like 17.1 to 17.2, etc, etc. So hopefully we're at the top end of that now. And that of course means that Joseph Fenech Jr. has gone from Strong Style for now, and so has Jørn Simmons. But hopefully we see them down the road at some point as official signings. And there's also something else we need to do, as David Kinlock in the comments has reminded me that we need to ask King Rex to get into better shape. Of course, in the last episode we asked everyone, but we hadn't signed King Rex at that point, so we're going to ask him and see what he says. And he's taken the suggestion on board, which is good to see. So quite a few of the roster now have agreed to that, and as we mentioned in the last episode, that will help with star quality, which then in turn will help with the ratings of their segments. And we might as well ask him again if he'll move to the USA, but I don't think he's going to say yes and no. He said no, but hopefully he does that on his own accord very soon. So I've just been keeping track of the booking team, and Emi Sakurai has bad chemistry with Hala Wicked now. So we just can't get away from bad chemistry at this point. So I'm going to see if anybody on the roster at all already has some booking skills, so we don't have to bother signing anybody else and risking them having bad chemistry and, you know. Apparently Baron Black has some booking skill, but I think we're actually just going to sign somebody new. Again, this is going to probably be a non-stop battle at this point. But we're going to search for 70 booking skill to hire in any role and see who pops up. And of course, we need to do based in the USA. So of course, 2 of the options that I've came up are guys that have bad chemistry, that being Jim Perry and Joe Belcastro. At least I think Jim Perry had bad chemistry. Either way, he hates us, so he's not going to talk to us. I'll go away and find somebody and I'll come back once I do. Right, so we've actually found Jim Smallman, who used to be the owner of Progress Wrestling in the UK. I don't think he is anymore. I think he's actually with WWE, so let's check that. Yeah, he's actually left WWE in the game. So I think he's actually part of NXT, as you can see here. He did move up from developmental to the main roster, relocated to the Mid-South, ideally, in April 2025 before leaving WWE just over 1 year later. So yeah, why not. He's only $20 per show. In terms of skills, he has 62 booking skill and 45 booking reputation. He's not going to do anything else within the company apart from be a booker behind the scenes. But yeah, let's bring him in. I'm just going to bring him in on the usual contract. We're actually even going to offer him $10 and see what he says there. And he wants a higher cut of merch, so we'll keep bumping that up until he accepts. We actually need to make it so he's never involved in in-ring work and do all shows. And he's happy to agree. So we'll bring in Jim Smallman. Hopefully we can find some good chemistry, or at least not bad chemistry, with him being added to the team. And I just need to double check that we're not double booked for the next show. It has automatically gone in for 2 weeks time, and it seems that we're okay to go. So we will know after this show whether we are able to gain popularity with free shows at the current ticket price, which of course is on cheap. And next month it might even be worth seeing if we can do free shows on very cheap, which of course gains you more popularity. But will we hit the cap too early? I don't know, that's something that we can work out. Or maybe we could drop down to very cheap and do 2 shows a month once again. But yeah, that's all stuff that we'll work out as we go. Of course, the difference between the two at this point, we are 17 popularity, so it would be $6 on very cheap per ticket as opposed to $8 on cheap. But then you have to balance the attendance that you gain for cheaper tickets and, you know, all that good stuff. But for now, we'll leave it on cheap and see how we go for the next show. And next month, we might start a new experiment. And we can confirm that Jim Smallman has signed with the company, so we're going to add him to the booking team. And I've just noticed an interesting story as well, that CM Punk has gone on hiatus from wrestling, and the news broke last month, and that he will be taking time off. So he is still with WWE, but only has 31 days left on his contract. So I assume that means he's not going to sign a new one. It doesn't say anything about him leaving though. So yeah, maybe he's going to leave wrestling once again. Maybe we'll keep track of that. We'll add him to the shortlist. But anyway, let's get to the booking team then and add in Jim Smallman, who's currently happy. So he's going to bring some positive vibes, hopefully, to the backstage area. And let's see how much we increase by. So we've actually gone up from 141 expected creative energy to 160. Of course, both Emi Sakurai and Jim Smallman are on probation periods still. Emi's runs until the end of September, and Jim's will run till October 20th. But hopefully we can find the right balance eventually. And it has now been confirmed that CM Punk is leaving WWE. And I would say that's probably his wrestling career over then, because by the time his hiatus finishes, which happens at an unknown date, he's probably going to be retired. Oh no. Oh no. We've had some terrible news. Mike DeVecchio has extended his deal with TNA. However, it's no longer a handshake deal. He has signed an exclusive written contract. And I think it was earlier in the episode we were saying how I wonder who'll be the first person to be snapped up on an exclusive deal from our roster, and it looks like we have the answer. It is going to be Mike DeVecchio. And now what we need to do is find who's going to be the man to beat him for his Strong Style Heavyweight Championship. But you can see why his new deal is an exclusive. He's improving across the board and is clearly a very talented guy, only at the age of 30. I can't believe it. He will also be leaving WXW, of course. He's going to be leaving German Wrestling Federation and will exclusively be working with TNA going forward. It could be an option where we start working with TNA and build a relationship with them and loan him back, but I don't think that's anything we're going to do anytime soon. And we have 30 days to decide who will be the man to beat him. Will it be Eric Hammer at Strong Style 25, or will we give it to somebody else? We'll find out soon enough. But that is a real shame. If we look at the options for who it could be, we'll just look at wrestlers in the heavyweight division. These are currently the guys with momentum. So, of course, we have Michael Dante, the former heavyweight champion, who is red hot right now and is pretty much undefeated. I think he's only lost one match, at least one singles match, that being to Mike DeVecchio for the title. And, of course, he did not succeed in both years' elimination matches in the Strong Style Showdown. But other than that, as I say, in singles action, he's only lost one match. So that could be an option. Put it back on the owner and booker. Another option could be Eric Hammer, have him take out Mike DeVecchio on the way out. The only issue is that he's 46 years old. I don't see him being around for an extended period of time at least. So that's maybe one to think about though. Of course, we have Ryan Davidson, the Texas babyface of the division. He is in the final of the Strong Style Showdown, so maybe a win there could earn him a title match. I don't know. And the other two options I don't think are realistic with Joshua Bishop and Baron Black. And it seems like we're missing somebody from that list, that being King Rex, who we need to add to the heavyweight division. And I would say he is one of the strongest candidates. Of course, we saw earlier that he's in the game as a next big thing on our creative meeting. He's improving leaps and bounds. He's bringing in decent ratings as well. Of course, in his debut match where he lost to Eric Hammer, he brought in a 38. So it's not too bad and will certainly improve as his popularity increases in the region. But yeah, it's certainly one to think about. But do let me know in the comments below who you think should be the man to dethrone Mike DiVecchio on the way out. But yeah, I can't lie, I'm absolutely gutted about that. I really thought he had a big future in the company, but it is what it is. But hopefully we can keep hold of the likes of Kevin Blackwood, Viano Free Jr. and King Rex, who I see as sort of the probably most likely candidates to be picked up elsewhere on exclusive returns at some point in the future. But we have lost one today. We have some news from AEW on the day of the show, and Buddy Matthews has actually just won the AEW World title, defeating Darby Allin at AEW All In 2026. Now this was held last night in the Globe Life Field, and at the show there's been another All In backstage bust-up, as Jay Lethal and Hikaru Shida had an enormous bust-up last night, with their heated argument being talk of the backstage area. So some things never change in AEW, but they do have a new AEW World Champion. And as we try and move on from losing our best heavyweight on the roster, let's get into the show and set up what might be to come for him over the next 30 days before his contract comes to an end, of course. And I'm going to once again go through these and give everybody the night off that needs it. Okay, so that's done, and let's make sure that we've got a generic venue, as always, as we're expecting 186 fans tonight, so that's pretty high. And we go to the booking team meeting now, and with our new addition, Jim Smallwood, and we have a total of 80 points to spend tonight, which seems a little bit low. Let's take a look at that. So it seems that Hallowicked has got bad chemistry with Jim Smallman as well, and that's massively reduced our creative energy. It's non-stop, isn't it? But we'll deal with that another time, and let's just leave those points in the bank for now. And let's go to the locker room incidents, and apparently there isn't any, which is fine. And we need to address the locker room, and we're just going to use Inspire tonight and try and get everybody up for a good show. We of course do already have some creative ideas to use. We might use maybe one or two. We'll see how it goes. So the card is booked in then, and we start off with 3 back-to-back championship matches. We're going to open up with the Junior Heavyweight Championship match between LJ Cleary and the man that eliminated him from the Strong Style Showdown, Josh Cody. Nicole Matthews will defend her championship against Trish Adora, who has earned her spot as the #1 contender after a number of victories in a row. Following the news of his upcoming departure, Mike DiVecchio defends his heavyweight championship against Eric Hammer, who of course eliminated him from the showdown, before Mike DiVecchio makes an announcement. And then we have another segment before the Viano Free Jr. versus Ryan Davidson Strong Style Showdown final goes down. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And we start off with the Junior Heavyweight Championship match then, and Josh Cody has managed to secure his first ever victory in Strong Style Americas when he defeated LJ Cleary in 14 minutes 47 by pinfall with a fast roll-up. And Josh Cody has somehow found himself in a championship match and has taken full advantage of it, securing the win over the Irishman tonight. And unfortunately, there was bad chemistry between the two, as LJ Cleary and Josh Cody don't seem to click, which resulted in a 36 overall match. But we did see a good performance from LJ Cleary at 44, but clearly that chemistry had an effect on Josh Cody's performance, as he was down in 29. But either way, a satisfying moment for all these Strong Style America's fans that love Josh Cody, and he couldn't have found a bigger way to get his first win in the company. And it'll be interesting to see how his title reign plays out going forward, considering his win-loss record so far. But yeah, he's done it, and a deserved title win there for Josh Cody for everything he's done for the company on and off over the past 25 shows, both in the ring and backstage, of course. And next up, we go to a match which had great chemistry, and Nicole Matthews has successfully defended her championship against Trish Adora in 11 minutes 58 by pinfall with a Vancouver maneuver, and Nicole Matthews makes defense number 2 of her title. Nicole there with a 47, so good performance from her, with Trish Adora just behind with a 46. And again, that great chemistry has given us a 48 overall, which is a solid defense there for Matthews. So far, one title change and one successful title defense, and let's find out how it goes down in the heavyweight division, as Mike DiVecchio has defeated Eric Hammer in what I forgot to mention was a last man standing match in 14 minutes 36 when Eric Hammer could not beat a 10 count. Again, a way to protect Eric Hammer and not have him pinned or submitted, which is a rarity in his career, of course with him being a 6'6" giant, and who I feel has been a useful player in terms of getting people ready for the main event scene, as well as being a credible challenger for the belt. But he has been kept down for the count tonight and has been toppled by the outbound Mike DiVecchio. DiVecchio there with a 57, continuing to be the standout of the division, which is a great shame considering his future. And Eric Hammer, not too bad, with a 40 in his own right. And overall, we got a 53, which is a solid segment rating. And now the next episode will be all about who will be the man to take down Mike DiVecchio. Will it be King Rex? Will it be Ryan Davidson? Will it be Michael Dante? Or will it be somebody new? I haven't actually decided yet, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. And next up, we go to the announcement that we mentioned, and after the match, Mike DiVecchio addresses the rumours that he's leaving Strong Style Americas. He tells the crowd that the rumours are true, but he will be remembered as a fighting champion. He says he wants the company to find the best competition possible, and he will defend his title anytime, any place, and in any situation. So actually a decent promo here from Mike DiVecchio with a 36 rating. But yeah, he's just making it clear that despite his decision to sign exclusively with TNA, he's going to go out with a bang and with a fight. So we'll see how that plays out in the weeks ahead. But we go to another angle this time, where we used that Killer Kai angle idea and it's failed despite it being a near certainty. But either way, Killer Kai and Killer Kelly are once again seen brawling into the arena. This time Michael Dante rushes out alongside officials to pull them apart. Dante states that the only resolution to the problem has to be inside the ring, and since Kelly insists that this town is only big enough for one of them, they will meet next month inside the ring to allow them to tear each other limb from limb. So the first encounter between the two killers is booked at some point next month. I haven't quite decided which show, but it will happen at either 26, 27 or 28, as I think we're going to run 3 shows at very cheap and see how that does in terms of popularity and if we grow on each show. And if we do, that might be the format going forward, that depending on how the financial situation looks at the end of the month, of course. But that's all admin for the next episode, but for now this got a 37, so it would have been better, of course, had the angle idea not failed, but even so, it's not too bad for a non-wrestling segment. But now let's go to the main event, where we go to a match between our best performer on the roster, that being Viano Free Jr., and the second best performer in the heavyweight division so far, Ryan Davidson, of course that behind Mike DiVecchio. So let's find out what happens. And in a match that got a 63, Viano Free Jr. is the second ever winner of the Strong Style Showdown, when he defeated Ryan Davidson in 14 minutes 14 by pinfall, of course, with a hand full of tights. So Viano living up to his name there and cheating his way once again to victory, but he does whatever it takes and it always seems to work, and he's managed to get one over on Ryan Davidson, who loses his second final in a row. First time he lost to Kevin Blackwood, now he's lost to Viano, but he's done well to get to 2 finals, so fair play to him, but he just hasn't had enough to get over the line just yet. And will he find another way to get over that line? we'll find out. But Viano Free Jr. got a 60, so great stuff from him. Ryan Davidson with a 46, so again, decent. The match got the crowd buzzing, and Viano Free Jr. is getting better at his gimmick, which is of course good. The segment rating though, as I mentioned, is 63, which might have taken us to our best show yet. We'll have to check that out after the show. But first, let's find out if we grew in popularity across 3 shows in 1 month. And we did. So we know that we haven't hit the cap yet. So it's all about finding that limit. So maybe very cheap is the way to go across 3 shows, or maybe even 4 if we can grow on each of those 4 shows. But as I say, that's admin for the next episode. But we did get a 57 overall rating, and I believe that might be our best show. I'll have to double check. We'll go and have a look in just a second, so make sure you hang around. But let's take a look at the pre-show stuff, and we'll address the locker room and address the losers of tonight's matches. So I want to give a praise to LJ Cleary. I know he is having a small morale issue, so we'll praise him for a great performance, and he actually outperformed Josh Cody tonight, in fairness. And we'll also give praise to Ryan Davidson, who will praise for a great performance as well. And both of them seem pleased. In terms of financials, we lost $649 tonight, spending $400 less than we did on the last show on workers. But yeah, it's going to be an expensive month this month, I think, in terms of finances, and I think we might struggle to make a profit. We'll have to check after this show, of course. But we've had a lot going on, especially with the Strong Style Showdown and the loans that we brought in. So yeah, we've spent a lot more than we normally would for this very special occasion. But let's see how we got on in terms of popularity then. And did we grow to 18? And we didn't. No way. So that shows that there's even more room for growth. And yeah, as I say, very cheap tickets looks to be the way going forward. And it looks like we probably could have had 4 shows this month and still increased in popularity, because we're obviously nowhere near that cap. But there we go, that experiment is finished, and 3 cheap shows are not the way forward if we want to grow in pop. And we are at the start of the month straight away, and yeah, we did lose money this month. We lost $909. Whilst we did do double what we normally do in ticket sales, our expenditure on workers is just so high, and our show costs as well seem to have gone up quite a lot. Overall, we spent $1,695, and then the overall cost here, I'm not entirely sure what that is $1,050, whilst venue hire is $450. So that seems to be on par, $150 a show, and MISC is slightly higher, but we did run 3 shows. But I wonder what this number here at the top is. I wonder if we can find out. So I can't seem to find anything about that, but yeah, it looks like we're going to have to slow down on worker costs and maybe even drop back down to 2 shows a month at very cheap. I don't know, I'll think about it. And had we maybe spent less on workers through loans and of course the Strong Style Showdown, we probably would have about broken even. So yeah, testing times now that we're into the next size, and it seems like we've got more expenditure through show costs. And whilst we don't know exactly what that is, it seems to be related to the jump from insignificant to tiny. And as mentioned, we will take a look at our most successful shows yet. And okay, so that last show, Strong Style 25, was our second best show, just behind 15, which of course was a legendary show, which saw our best match yet, at least at the time, between Kevin Blackwood and LJ Cleary. And Strong Style 24 is actually in 3rd as well. So 2 shows from this month being very successful in terms of ratings. And yeah, I think that's even further confirmation that we need to lower the ticket prices, because we should be gaining popularity with those sort of numbers. However, for matches, let's see how Ryan Davidson versus Viano compared to that LJ Cleary Kevin Blackwood match. And it's in at number 2, so not too bad at all there with a 63. Kevin Blackwood and LJ Cleary still holding fort at the top of the list. And you'll also see there that the junior heavyweight division elimination match from this year's Strong Style Showdown was our 3rd best match. And you can also see Mike DeVecchio versus Eric Hammer in a last man standing match, which was our 2nd ever stipulation match, I believe, making the list as well. But with that said, it's been a big episode in terms of storylines. Josh Cody has somehow managed to end his losing streak and has walked away as the junior heavyweight champion, and we'll see how that plays out over the coming months. Our heavyweight champion is heading out of the door, and we're waiting to find out who will be the one to take the title away from him before he leaves for TNA. Nicole Matthews is still the women's champion and running strong there, having made 2 defenses already. And of course, we've crowned the 2nd ever Strong Style Showdown winner, and the prestige of that title has gone up to 56 now, and it is far and away our most prestigious honour in the company, and it has been won by the new luchador in town. And how will his future play out, as he seems to be the top guy in the company right now? And if you want to find out, make sure you hit 300 likes down below, and that'll unlock the next episode as soon as I physically can. Make sure you check out all the links in the description and tell me who you think should be the next heavyweight champion. But until next time, peace.